You know, the past couple of days have been an absolute trash fire, not only for the entire gaming industry, but also for PlayStation, after recently announcing that in 2028, they will no longer be providing any physical games whatsoever. We then saw their own stock for Sony increase 3% after investors thought it was a great idea to no longer offer you any options with how you in fact buy your video games. And think about it from this perspective. Practically every other hobby has the ability to buy something physical. Books, you can still buy a physical book if you want to. Movies, CDs, same thing as well. For some reason, gaming and games seem to be the actual pinnacle point of where everybody has to go to test the most anti-consumer practices. If it's not requiring your ID to log in to anything online, it's also the fact that you'll own nothing and pretend to be happy. But the problem is it doesn't just stop there. We've been seeing as how so many other companies have been non-stop making fun of PlayStation and their insane decision. Practically everybody is in fact getting on board. And honestly, they deserve it. Here's Domino's Pizza making the same kind of statement that PlayStation did, saying that in response to the actual trends in the gaming industry, as of April 1st, 2027, Domino's UK will cease production of all physical pizzas. Here's VoiceMod making that exact same statement, literally making fun of PlayStation, saying that they were going to be phasing out all their physical voices in favor of digital ones. And it's even gotten so far as to have GitHub saying, "We heard you and we agree." In light of recent developments in physical media, GitHub is proud to announce that you can now obtain your public repo on CD-ROM. Keep it, lend it to friends, pass it on to your children. Your code is physically yours forever until you lose it. Let's be real. Order yours today. Sitting here and watching every other major company literally take a massive diarrhea buffalo infested fart all over PlayStation truly is one of the funniest things to see. The company that basically runs 80% or maybe even more of the actual gaming industry. And it's gotten so bad that practically nobody is defending them. Well, nobody except a certain group of PlayStation fanboys who certainly believe that going digital is going to be the best way overall. It's even gotten so bad in that segment that other PlayStation fanboys are splintering off and they're literally eating each other alive all over Twitter. Yeah, the fanboy civil war is real, and we're going to cover it on Saturday's live stream. Be there, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a hell of a show right here on this channel. Absolute shameless plug. But the thing is, it gets even worse. It turns out that PlayStation is now even facing an all-media blackout because they knew this kind of storyline was going to be bad for everyone in the entire industry. And it's impacting everything. It's basically showcasing everybody is going to be in a space of digital content and no ownership whatsoever, except maybe even on the PC, where this is the only platform where you can in fact sail the 7 seas, have places like GOG and itch.io, and many other places that provide you with DRM-free games. Hell, even Steam games can also be cracked if you need them to be, so that way you can in fact own your own digital games that you buy on any storefront whatsoever. But I think the truly iconic and funniest moment about this entire thing is watching one PlayStation account literally not get the memo and get completely roasted all over Twitter. Check this out. PlayStation Support UK tweeted this out yesterday. Take screenshots and record gameplay on PS5 to remember and share your greatest gaming moments. How to capture PS5 gameplay and screenshots. First of all, that ratio is absolutely delicioso, as my Latino friends would like to say. But I think the better part about this is the fact that they clearly didn't get the memo about having an entire media blackout. I think the best part are in fact the responses. With Does It Play saying this: "Oh, so now you lot care about preserving something? Shouldn't pursue killing off physical media then. Shouldn't close the PS3 and Vita stores either. Hypocrites." With Nicholas saying, "I love taking screenshots. Here's the latest one I took. Hashtag PlayStation, face hearts emoji," showing that he canceled his PS Plus Premium subscription. And here's TY saying this, how nice, here's a screenshot for you as well, showcasing that he also canceled his PS Plus subscription as well. And you know what's crazy? This really reminds me of exactly what happened with Xbox Game Pass a few months back. I think, no, actually about a year back, in fact, when they raised the price of Game Pass to $30, increasing it by 50%. And everybody canceled their Game Pass subscription. It's all happening right now the exact same way. But it turns out PlayStation isn't even done yet, because they're also might be doing an increase in their PSN price. No, I'm not kidding. Because according to Insider Gaming, Sony discusses potential future PlayStation Plus price hikes. With the article saying this, it's not exactly stated who answered the question, but the executives were asked how people should think about the pace and scale of future price increases for the subscription platform. In response, they stated that they are always trying to balance the value of the service against consumer costs, and they are using multiple factors to improve profitability and the efficiency of content acquisition, saying, quote, PS Plus offers strong value to players, and we continually balance that value against consumer cost. We're using multiple levers to improve profitability, including pricing, tier mix, and content acquisition efficiency. Higher tiers now account for 40% of subscribers, which reflects strong demand for the service. PS Plus remains a key driver of profitability, and we achieved record high PS Plus profitability in fiscal year 2025. Brother, I have never seen a company literally bat 1,000 in all the worst decisions I've ever actually seen. This is insane if you ask me. This company has made record profits year over year. In this gen specifically alone, they have been the most profitable ever. And what do? Do they give you a break? No. Do they give you a discount? Absolutely not. They're going to intend to raise the price using multiple levers and figure out what's the best price to performance on what we can do to maximize the money out of your wallet. All this because they didn't want to take a loss on actually buying RAM for the RAM crisis, and they're going to monetize you over and over again, my boys. But you see, this video isn't about PlayStation. No, I'm going to give you a little ropey-dopey on this one. You see, this video is about game journalists and the gaming industry. Yeah, that's where we're going to go. You see, it turns out even with all of this news happening with PlayStation and the gaming industry and what's been happening, what are journalists in the gaming media talking about? Well, apparently it's not PlayStation, because according to The Game Business by Christopher Dring, posting this article and tweet, we've spoken to numerous senior Xbox employees and discovered doubts about the company's current plan ahead of massive studio and job cuts. Brother, I'm gonna be real. Christopher Dring, y'all are never, ever, ever, little Taylor Swift, by the way, beating those allegations at all, ever in your lifetime. How could you sit there and put out an article about Xbox layoffs that are going to be happening probably next week or maybe even early on Monday? And when they do happen, I will cover them because clearly they haven't happened yet. So reporting on rumors makes no sense whatsoever. But literally, with all of this news going on, with the entire gaming industry on fire and everything happening, the one that you're going to talk about instead is Xbox layoffs. And I think what's even funnier is throughout his entire article and video and conversation, he mentioned that Obsidian could be on the chopping block for Microsoft, that they would in fact take down Obsidian, even though that is the one developer, in my opinion, that Xbox has that's actually putting out games. Now, you may not like their games. I actually pretty much do. I really felt like Avowed was given a bad shake, especially after what that guy on that art team said about people and their political perspectives. Again, they shouldn't really be talking much on Blue Sky at all, if you ask me. But that's also my personal biases because I put around 300 plus hours into Pillars of Eternity 1. So, hey, that's just my own personal thing happening there. But the thing is, this news really didn't make any sense whatsoever, and it was quickly caught on by the entire internet trying to find out if this was in fact the case. Because even if Obsidian doesn't make all the AAA bangers people are expecting, they're still a very beloved studio. In fact, Jason Schreier had something to say about this, with Wario64 on Twitter saying this: Jason Schreier, quote, "I can confirm that Obsidian is not in negotiations to avoid shutting down. Plenty of details are still up in the air surrounding the layoffs. Picture will be clear on Monday, but Xbox is keeping Obsidian, according to people familiar with the situation." And if you haven't noticed on that screenshot with Wario64, we're talking about Jason Schreier's own post on Blue Sky, there's a deleted tweet. That deleted tweet is literally talking about Christopher Drings and the game business, saying that Microsoft would be chopping Obsidian down. And article after article, website after website, we're all literally having to make updates and retractions because of what was said. Hell, even the game business had to do it themselves, with the game business Twitter saying this: Obsidian was listed as a company in negotiation with Xbox over potential closure. This was a mistake. With Modern Vintage Gamer quote tweeting them and saying this: "Imagine for a moment you're a dev at Obsidian and you read this, then the outlet walks it back after they publish misinformation. This isn't a small mistake, you hand wave." Here's Tom Warren also quote tweeting the game business saying this: "That's some mistake, pensive face emoji." With even friend of the channel Special Nick also saying this: "Wait, Chris Dring basically pulled this out of nowhere? Bro, you'd think old mate would be more annoyed at PlayStation for taking away a chunk of his business, LMAO." And over, tweet after tweet, website after website, looking like an actual clown with egg on their face, all because Christopher Dring wanted to be the internet's version of Dreamcast guy, putting out the Xbox bad every single time. Now look, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, "Oh, Alex, you're just defending Xbox. You're just an Xbox fanboy who became a PC fanboy." Literally, don't even try that on me, okay, bro? I actually go through and criticize the entire gaming industry, and if you honestly believe that, you are a clown of the highest order. In fact, you're being a clown for free when clowns actually make more money than what you're doing right now, being on Twitter or making that comment. Ooh, you might as well paint your face and put on the nose and finally get paid instead of getting roasted every single day by me online. But the problem is Christopher Dring's massive misinformation campaign, in fact, doesn't stop here. It actually got worse. Here's Charlie Intel on Twitter saying this: "Xbox's CEO Asha Sharma has brought a startup mentality to the business, with many things being thrown together last minute. The Xbox console price increase was announced suddenly last week in reaction to Apple's price increase for their products." With Jez Corden also saying this: "I saw a report that Microsoft rushed out their Xbox Series X and S price increase to take advantage of Apple announcing the same. This is also false. It was to coincide with their previous fixed price memory contracts expiring and has been planned for a while. Just coincidence." So literally, we're watching online and the internet as the entire world is watching as PlayStation is doing one of the most insane anti-consumer practices of all time. And what does Christopher Dring do? Do everything except talk about the most insane thing happening in the gaming industry right now and talk about Xbox instead. Now, there have been allegations that Christopher Dring is sponsored by PlayStation or Sony, and I really haven't looked into that, so I'm not going to make any sort of statement about that either until I find more factual information. But the thing is, the dude is never beating these allegations. And the crazier part is, every single time a game sells well in the UK and in physical sales, Christopher Dring parades that around online, talking about how bad Xbox is doing on physical sales in their own country, yet turning around and saying nothing about what PlayStation is doing with this entire aspect of removing physical games from their own library and spreading nothing more than fake news across the board. It's really wild to see that for the last couple of years, I truly believed that there was no such thing as an Xbox tax, and I thought it was all just made up FUD from people who were just mad about Xbox not doing well in the gaming industry, and rightfully so. They're not doing well right now, and they could be doing a lot better, and hopefully Asha Sharma does the right thing come Monday and not let go of every single IP or every single studio or every employee that they have that could truly make great games. But this honestly is shocking and also not at the exact same time. Like I've said before, this really makes no sense whatsoever. The entire world is watching as one of the biggest players in the space is doing one of the most insane things we've ever seen. Practically every other corporation is taking the piss out of them and making fun of them because they decided to go ahead and put profits over consumers, and that's really going to put things into a bad perspective, especially with next gen coming out for the PlayStation 6. And personally, if Xbox is watching and they're seeing what's going on Twitter, they could truly understand the changes that they have to make in order to be successful for next generation. And that's all that I want. Proper competition, not about exclusivity, but proper competition in terms of value for the customer and consumer. Imagine if Xbox actually puts a disc on the damn thing for the next gen Helix. Imagine if they give you the right and the ability to go ahead and make your physical games into digital ones and still use the physical disc after you've made the digital license. Expand the Play Anywhere aspect as well, and even make their Xbox PC app compete with Steam. That would be fantastic and give other people the opportunity to buy games from other storefronts on their own Project Helix system. That would be exactly what's needed for Xbox to finally show some good faith towards their consumers when PlayStation is doing the exact opposite and taking everything away. But no, what do we get instead? More Xbox bad news, baby, because hell, even GameStop went into it. Here's GameSpot on Twitter posting this: Xbox Game Pass is removing a lot of games very soon. Now look, reading this headline, reading this title, you would think this is going to be a bad thing, as if they're going to be removing more big games from their platform, more single-player tentpole titles, or games that are actually part of what Game Pass makes it so great. But what's the truth in reality? It's basically exactly what Game Pass has been doing every single month since its inception, rotating out old games and putting in new games as well. Hell, they even got community noted because of it. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. Xbox Game Pass routinely removes around 10 to 12 games mid-month and end month each month. And you know what? As I was recording this video and just thinking about what was happening with all these insiders in the gaming space, including Jason Schreier, including Christopher Dring, and everybody else, why is it that all of these people all know everything that's going on inside of Xbox, but none of them know what the is going on with PlayStation? Can somebody riddle that for me? Can somebody figure that out? Because for the past 2 weeks, we've all been hearing about massive layoffs and all these rumors that are going to be happening at Xbox. Yet for some reason, the only people who in fact covered the Bungie layoffs were like Paul Tassi and a couple of other journos as well, literally having actual meltdowns because they cut out half the fucking studio from Bungie after spending almost $4 billion on that space. You can't tell me Jason Schreier, who knew about PC ports, didn't know about no games having discs in 2028? How does that work out? You can't tell me Christopher Dring, who's all about everything with PlayStation, for some reason didn't know about the biggest aspect of the most anti-consumer practice PlayStation would in fact ever do, yet not a peep from any of these actual insiders about this? What is happening? Especially with Jason Schreier, with all of his articles coming out about PC ports no longer happening, he couldn't be like, hey, yo, I heard this crazy thing. You guys weren't going to do discs anymore? Whoa, bro, you don't think, I don't know, maybe I should talk about that a little bit? Not a peep, not a word, until everybody else was blindsided about it 2 days ago? Okay. All right, bro, I guess it's only good when PlayStation's got good news, but not when they got bad news, I guess, right? I guess we got to protect the brand, you know what I mean? And look, like I've said before, it doesn't matter which company it is, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, Valve, or even Xbox. If they do anti-consumer things, I'm going to call them out on it. If they impact the gaming industry negatively, I'm going to call them out on it. If they do good things, then I'll say that too. But the problem is what we're seeing right now is too many people in the gaming industry, too many journalists and insiders having way too much influence in this space, going around just saying whatever the fuck they want, acting like fanboys without having any actual factual evidence behind it, causing a massive shitstorm, people losing their minds, and then having to go around and make all those other websites make massive retractions. It's almost like it's Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail, and the second one person opens her mouth and makes something up, it runs like wildfire. And the more gaming outlets and news outlets are run by fanboys and people trying to defend a corporation, the more we're going to see acts like what happened the other day be defended by those same fanboys and those corporations, where things like, oh, digital's 80% or 90%. Honestly, who cares? What I want is the ability and the option for me to buy a game the way I choose to buy a game. And that's the most important thing. And when the layoffs for Xbox finally happen, then we'll cover that as well. If Chris Dring is right, then I'll say he's right. And we'll see what happens next week on Monday. But the thing is, right now, we don't even know. And it's all just rumors. So why act on rumors when we know the actual fact right now of what's happening is that PlayStation is ruining the gaming industry. And that is what I'm really angry about. And you should be too, regardless of what platform you play on. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think gaming journals have some credibility? Do you think they are in fact spreading misinformation? Or are you just going to wait for your favorite YouTuber, you know, the guy who wears a banana suit, to give you the info about what's going on and hopefully help you make the right decision? I want to hear what you got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Chestnut Mouse 6823 saying this: Sony shoots themselves in the foot. Dreamcast guy. I can't believe Xbox would do this. You know, as funny as that comment is, it's probably actually true. I wouldn't be surprised if Dreamcast guy literally tried to make it a negative Xbox content when PlayStation is the one ruining everything. Good job. But you know what? If you want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't even sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel, as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. It's actually insane. Trust me. You don't want to miss it. Live Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Do you want even more of me, though? Check out Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. New videos go up every single Monday, and I live stream there every day from 10:30 a.m. all the way to around 2 p.m. Today, we're playing Black Myth Wukong, the game that I thought was not going to be a Game of the Year contender, and I was in fact proven wrong about it. Let's see if I'm going to be proven wrong again. Live on stream on Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. I can't wait to see you there. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you Gooners next time. Peace!